Hey, what's going on YouTube? PB the Fox here with the Ravnica Historical Society, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about how I hit Mythic with the blue-white auras list. So let's jump into that right now. So after the Insight Esports Open happened, I was super happy with the fact that auras took first place, even though I still maintain, even to this day, like I said last month, it's not that great of a deck. But in the metagame right now, with how things are working out, I was really impressed with Sam Beaulieu's list here. Specifically that the Cerulean Drake I thought was kind of a cute thing at first, but it turns out it's actually just really good. And jamming the 4 Adonto Vanguards in the main was a pretty big change from my original list. I really love that it's got the built-in indestructible. In most matchups, the 4 life tends not to matter as much as just not having your creature die. That way you can stack, like you get a Sentinel's Eyes and a Staggering Insight on it, and you just gain all that life right back. So if you haven't seen the list before, this is the one that got first place. It's Adonto Vanguard, Spirit Dancer, Selfless Savior, and Force Rams. My list is a little bit different, right? So we'll take a look at his. He has the 1 Aether Tunnel, which I copied. The board, pretty close, but a little bit different for me. I couldn't figure out what the Entrancing Melody was for. If you guys want to let me know in the comments, I haven't tried to get a hold of Sam. I noticed that they didn't have any contact information as far as like a lot of people on the magic.gg have like their Twitch and their Twitter and their whatever. There was no information for Sam, so I couldn't ask any questions. But if we step over here into Arena, you can see that I've got the same thing, right? Vanguard, Spirit Dancer. I cut 1 SRAM just because a lot of the time you're leaning on the dog to keep the SRAM alive, and I found that multiples of SRAM are pretty bad. So it's almost always right to just have 3, in my opinion. I think this is super good. Putting the Spell Pierces in the main was also super clever. It's something that I hadn't tried before. I've always had them in the sideboard because specifically in past metas, they've been really iffy. So there's a lot of times where your Spell Pierces just aren't doing anything. Right now, I think Spell Pierce is a great card in the main deck. So if you're playing anything blue tempo based, like I guess the Phoenix deck doesn't play it, but even like the Team or Spellcraft decks should probably just be putting these in their deck. But I put the 1 Aether Tunnel because making things unblockable. This card has actually won me so many games. I'm really impressed with Aether Tunnel. It's definitely going to stay in here. I wouldn't put any more in simply because I don't know what to cut for them. Like I already had to cut the 1 All That Glitters for the tunnel, which was painful enough because this card's great. But other than that, it's like super stock, right? 6, 3, 4 of each land. You have Loris as the companion. 4 of these, 4 of these, 4 of these. Those are all like the bread and butter of the deck, right? With this and Staggering Insight. Like that's the core of the blue-white aura deck. Really all that changed was the Adonto Vanguards are super good right now. The Spell Pierces have overperformed. And then in the board over here, the Unsummon is weird, but there's just randomly times where it's really good. If you're playing against like a Teamer Spellcraft deck, or Sprite Dragon is a really good card to unsummon. If your opponent gets a Coma into play with Indomitable Creativity, putting it back in their hand can be a huge pain in the ass. Declaration in Stone, kind of the same thing. This card is just insane removal. Giving them the token it's not that bad because you're usually killing them before they can take advantage of it. And like I've got games on the channel that we've been playing all month. Even when you do give them the tokens, sometimes like I've got multiple elves with this thing and my opponent's got to crack all their clues and you still just win. Because if your opponent's in a position where they can spend 2 or 4 mana to crack clues, you're probably in good shape. Heliod's Punishment was another card from Sam's list that I had never tried before. This card is very good. Being able to cast a removal spell that also draws you a card with Spirit Dancer or SRAM is exactly the kind of tempo that this deck needs to capitalize on. You can't, like, taking a turn off to cast Deck and Stone is usually okay because you're only doing it in matchups where you need to kill their stuff. Specifically in game 2 and 3, whenever you're on the draw against things like Phoenix and Mono Black and like anything that's going to try to race me, I will just board these in and try to play a slightly more control role. Like obviously it's not a control deck, but being able to kill your opponent's thing, it's especially in the mirror. Oh my goodness, in the mirror, these 2 cards are nuts on the draw because like it just lets you get back into the game, ignoring the fact that I think the biggest factor in winning the mirror match is winning the die roll. So being able to counter being on the draw with this kind of powerful stuff to really throw off your opponent's curve and their game plan is very strong. The Cerulean Drakes, like I said, when they first popped up, I thought it was a cute little thing that was a flavor of the week. This card is actually absurd. Like all of the red removal in the format can't do anything about this guy. And like I've won so many games just by like putting Cerulean Drake down and then putting Curious Obsession on it, and it'll just draw me 4 cards. It's crazy. It flies, having built-in evasion. I guess I just overlooked that when I first saw the card, but Cerulean Drake is absolutely the truth. Into the Royal is just a different unsummon. I'll bring it in against control decks sometimes. It's like, it could be another unsummon, but I just have it as an Into the Royal in case of random things that happen. Like, I can't even think of a time where I've been happy that it was Into the Royal, and I haven't kicked this card. It's always been in my sideboard since I built the deck. I can't think of a single time where I've kicked it and had that be relevant, but it's just there as a ladder thing. If I was playing in a tournament where I had a better idea of what the metagame would be, it would probably just be another unsummon or something else completely. Like, I don't think I would put more, maybe another Deck and Stone, maybe, but it could also just be a flex slot into literally anything else you want. It could be Lantern of Insight if you decide you need that, like whatever. And then the 4 Dovin's Vetoes are super good against the heavy control meta right now. Being able to counter Indomitable Creativity or Wrath of God effects or Teferi, like, this card's just very, very strong. Super, super good. So we'll take a look at my GG platform right now. And I guess we can zoom in a little bit here. As you can see, I really struggled all month in low platinum. Like, does this say the actual days? It doesn't say the actual days, but everything highlighted right now is me playing blue-white control. I played a bunch of Jund Sacrifice. There's a little bit of auras. I played some Jund Food. Oh yeah, Sacrifice and Food I played for a while. Some Arcanist. I was trying out a bunch of different stuff going in and out, and then I decided, you know what? Auras is the deck that's always done well for me. It's June 29th, and I just hit Diamond like yesterday or the day before. And so today I think I hit Div 3. I was Diamond 4, I hit Diamond 3, and then I was like, you know what, we're just gonna run with the deck. And we had a 13-1. The last game before I was about to hit Diamond, I ran into Blue-Red Phoenix and lost to an absolute blowout match. So that was the only one loss there. But you can see it was just like struggle. I hit this, got into Diamond, and then literally one loss up into, we're 98% Mythic or 92% Mythic. I can't remember what it was. But this deck is just, it's pretty good in the meta right now. The unfortunate thing is that the deck still has a tendency just to fall apart on itself. There are times where you're just going to like hit lands over and over and over again, or you'll just like, there was a game earlier this week where I mulliganed to 3 and then won the game somehow, but I think I mulliganed to 5 every other match in the entire Diamond run. Out of the 13 we played, I mulliganed to 5 in at least 6 or 7 matches. It was crazy. The thing is, the deck's not really punished for mulliganing that hard because of SRAM and Core Spirit Dancer, so you can get away with it. But it's still just like, it's not the best deck you could be playing, but I have the cards for it, and I'm not willing to craft anything that I think might get banned out from under us because we have no idea where Historic's going right now. So being able to just proactively hit your opponent with things that are hard to deal with, like a Danto Vanguard and the Cerulean Drake, and then just crushing them with Core Spirit Dancer, like, most people can't race this card. The red-green decks can't race it. The mono-black deck can struggle. Like, if you can ever get Selfless Savior and Lurrus down against removal decks, you'll just win. The deck has a lot going for it right now, so I wouldn't recommend dumping all your wild cards into this unless you really, really like blue-white aggro decks, you like tempo decks, and you don't want to build the best deck in the format. But yeah, so that's pretty exciting. We hit 92% Mythic today, which pretty on brand for us. Literally, the day before the season ends, we get back into Mythic, so that's exciting. But I just wanted to make a little quick video here showing that we did it again this month. The changes that Sam made to this deck, it's pretty obvious to me why Sam won the Insight Open. This is very good for the meta. I'm sure the matchups were pretty good, and like, you just have a lot of lines of play to make good decisions and really confuse your opponent. We've got a ton of videos in the YouTube. I guess I'm not going to link to my own channel in a YouTube video, but if you go check the other stuff, I think the last like 10 videos I posted have all been matches of blue-white auras. So you can see the different matchups we've played, and I kind of talk a little bit about why we're sideboarding certain ways, and like the dynamics of a matchup and what we need to focus on and what we can ignore. So that's kind of cool. I know there's a lot of people on the sub that have been talking about the deck. It's pretty popular. A lot of people just like the boggles and aura style thing. So yeah, I can recommend it if it's what you like. But if you're just looking for like a really powerful new deck and you're not familiar with this at all, proceed with caution, I'd say. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Probably not blue-white auras. I might play it in Mythic. Maybe we'll see how high we can climb in Mythic on the last day. I don't know. But either way, if you haven't checked out the channel before, I'd love it if you scope through some of the old videos. I'm PB the Fox with the Ravnica Historical Society. You've all been awesome, like always, and we'll see you back tomorrow on Wednesday. Take care, everyone.